为什么越来越多的外国美女想嫁去中国？
Why are more and more foreign women eager to marry Chinese men? This question was raised by a Russian user on Quora, the world's largest Q&A platform. He shared that during a trip to China, he met several fellow Russians. At first, he thought they were tourists like himself, but later discovered they had already settled in China with Chinese husbands. He wondered. In the past, it was always Chinese women marrying foreign men. So when did Chinese men suddenly become so popular? The post sparked a heated discussion, with users from different countries weighing in. A Korean user said, "In ancient China, men were prioritized over women, and even today many families still hold such views. Honestly, foreign women prefer Korean men. We are a developed country with a higher standard of living. Plus, Korean men are handsome, which makes them attractive to foreign women." A Vietnamese user commented, "My cousin married a Chinese man last year. When I saw her recently, I almost didn't recognize her. She looked prettier. Her aura had completely changed. She told me her Chinese husband hands over his entire salary every month, around $7,000 if earning 50,000 renminbi, cooks, does the dishes, and his parents even help raise the kids. Compared to life in Vietnam, it's like night and day." A German user added, "European women usually have very high standards, but now even German women are considering Chinese men. My close friend married one. She said China is safe, the infrastructure is great, and as long as you have a stable job, life isn't too stressful. People are friendly and don't discriminate against foreigners. Most importantly, her husband cooks amazing meals for her every day. Honestly, I'm a little jealous." A Spanish user explained, "Most foreign brides in China come from Vietnam and Russia. As China's economy grows stronger, its attraction to neighboring countries also rises. Marriage becomes the easiest way for foreigners to enter China. Chinese men can not only earn money to support the family, but also treat their wives well, and that's exactly what foreign women are looking for." A Singaporean user concluded, "More and more foreign women want to marry into China, while Chinese women are no longer so eager to marry out. Statistics show that over 65% of Chinese men's cross-border marriages are with foreign wives, and the number keeps rising. Why would men give up marrying women who share their culture and language, and instead choose foreigners? The main reason is the serious gender imbalance in China. Too many men, too few women. As local women raise their standards higher and higher, many men have no choice but to look abroad." So after hearing all these perspectives, what do you think? Why are so many foreign women willing to marry Chinese men? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it.
我有一种强烈的预感，我觉得国内的婚恋市场马上会有一场
I have a very strong feeling. The domestic marriage market in China is about to undergo a major reshuffle. Just recently, I came across a piece of data that really shocked me. In 2024, the number of registered cross-border marriages in China increased by 23% compared to the previous year. Among them, 70% were foreign women marrying Chinese men. This trend is no longer limited to border provinces like Yunnan, Fujian, or Guangdong. Even in inland provinces such as Anhui, Hunan, and Sichuan, the number of marriages involving foreign spouses has been skyrocketing. In the past, when people talked about international marriages, they usually thought of Chinese women marrying foreign men. But in reality, since 2018, the number of Chinese men marrying foreign women has already surpassed that of Chinese women marrying foreigners, and the numbers have only continued to rise year after year. Why is this happening? Part of the reason is, of course, that our country has grown stronger, and compared with Japanese or Korean men, Chinese men tend to show more respect toward women. That makes foreign women more willing to marry here. But the more crucial reason is this. The domestic marriage market has become extremely tough for men. Nowadays, an average man with ordinary conditions finds it very difficult to find an equally average woman. Because women now expect him not only to buy a house, a car, and pay a bride price, but also to provide emotional value, Meet the endless good man standards that pop up on the internet, and after marriage, keep creating romance while handing over his entire salary. If he falls short in any of these, he will face criticism and blame. Compared to that pressure, marrying a foreign woman is indeed a lower cost, less stressful choice, with a much higher happiness index. After all, the so-called simp economy, men spoiling women unconditionally just to win them over, has already collapsed completely. Society is also cracking down on excessive bride prices and gold-digging behavior. That's why I'm really looking forward to seeing a new form of marriage culture emerge in our society. I remain optimistic because no matter the era, people will never stop pursuing happiness and a better life. It's just that the shift in mindset and marriage patterns will take some time.
家人们，最近国内香精脚可热闹了。
Hey sisters, the matchmaking corners in China are absolutely buzzing right now. A ton of foreign women have shown up, and it's got the older single ladies here totally shook. Listen to this. At Zhongshan Park in Beijing, there's this gorgeous Russian woman born in 2000 who owns a villa and a farm back in Russia. And she's looking for a Chinese boyfriend without asking for any dowry. In Chengdu, another Russian gal who's got her own house and car is only asking for a symbolic dowry of 8,800 yuan. That's about 1,232 US dollars. These women from Russia, Ukraine, and other places are highly educated, stunning, and adapt so well to Chinese culture. Most don't even care about dowries. They just want a dependable Chinese guy to build a life with. This has our guys and their parents thrilled. In Shanghai, some aunties are saying these foreign ladies are young, accomplished, and don't demand dowries, making them way better than local women. But the older single women here, the saintly singles, aren't happy. Online, they're telling foreign women to get out, claiming they're ruining fairness and even blaming Chinese men for being low quality. But let me tell you, cross-border marriages are still super hot. Our guys love that these foreign women are young, beautiful, and have low expectations. Meanwhile, the foreign women praise Chinese men for being filial, family-oriented, and non-violent, basically dream husbands. Some even bring their own dowries to marry here. On the other hand, the domestic marriage market is a mess. In 2024, marriages plummeted, birth rates tanked, and there are 30 million single guys out there.
Why?
Because local saintly singles have crazy high demands, huge dowries, fully paid houses and cars, and a long list of other expectations. They think with more men than women, they're in control. But they didn't expect guys to just opt out, either staying single or going for foreign brides. At matchmaking spots, the male-to-female ratio is now 15-1, so honestly, the women are the ones panicking. Still, cross-border marriages are a niche thing. A lot of young people are avoiding marriage because of sky-high housing prices, expensive living costs, and an uncertain future. If these issues aren't fixed, the marriage market's going to stay chaotic. Thanks for watching, sisters. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, and tell your friends.
娶外国老婆到底有什么好处？
People often ask, what's so good about marrying a foreign wife? Well, first of all, the biggest advantage is that there's no bride price issue like we see in many parts of China. Traditionally, marrying a wife here often means paying a hefty bride price, but with foreign wives, that problem almost doesn't exist. Second, there's another obvious benefit: mixed-race kids. Your children will definitely be beautiful, and when you walk outside, everyone will admire them. Neighbors, friends, and your buddies will all think, wow, this guy really has skills, he's got what it takes. Because honestly, every man dreams of finding a foreign wife, but not everyone can actually pull it off. Third, your foreign language skills will improve dramatically, especially your speaking ability. On top of that, you'll have more chances to travel abroad. At the very least, each year you'll visit your wife's family, your in-laws. That broadens your horizons and adds to your life experiences. Right now, China's gender ratio is severely imbalanced. Statistics show that over 30 million Chinese men remain single without being able to find a wife. And let's face it, life without a partner is unhappy, incomplete, and it even affects social harmony and stability. So, when Chinese men marry foreign women, it's actually an effective way to ease the pressure of bachelorhood and address gender imbalance. It's something that really should be encouraged and supported. That's it. I've said my piece. Now, how about a symbolic kiss, moi moi moi?
外国美女进入中国的相亲市场，大龄剩女们这回
Have you
彻底
noticed?
慌了。
In the dating markets of big Chinese cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, something unusual is happening. Foreign women are flocking in to find Chinese husbands. They're young, beautiful, highly educated, and crystal clear about their goal, to marry Chinese men. What's more, they openly declare, bride price doesn't matter. Character is what counts. Take one woman in Beijing as an example. She had been searching in vain for a daughter-in-law for her son. But this time, a blonde foreign girl reached out first. She even came with her own house and car, didn't ask for gold jewelry, and demanded no bride price at all. The mother immediately lit up with joy, finally seeing hope for her son's marriage. But why are these foreign girls so determined to marry Chinese men? The answer lies in how they see Chinese men: righteous, loyal, family-oriented, warm, filial to parents, responsible, and caring toward their wives. In short, compared to men from many other countries, Chinese men seem far more reliable. There are real-life examples, too. A young man in Jiangsu married a Korean bride with a bride price of just 8,888 renminbi, about $1,240. Their wedding was festive, romantic, and heartwarming. Today, the two live happily as a picture-perfect couple. Of course, this wave of foreign women has left many unmarried Chinese women over 30 feeling uneasy. On the internet, some even lashed out, accusing these women of disrupting the marriage market. A few went so far as to call Chinese men useless for failing to marry local women and instead helping foreign women out of poverty. But complaints change nothing. Chinese men are not fools. In terms of appearance, education, adaptability, and above all, genuine respect and affection, foreign women have plenty to offer. Many even speak fluent Chinese, removing language barriers altogether. Compared to local women, who often demand sky-high bride prices, insist on houses and cars, and act from a lofty position, it's clear why many men would make a different choice. That said, international marriage isn't some magic cure for China's relationship crisis. The real reasons young people hesitate to marry lie elsewhere. Wages can't keep up with living costs, and the burden of raising children is simply overwhelming.
最近相亲圈炸锅了。
Brothers, the matchmaking scene has absolutely exploded recently. Here's the hot news. A wave of foreign girls who don't need a bride price has descended upon China's matchmaking corners. The older leftover women, Daling Xingnu, are furious venting online. Stop coming here to compete for our men. Media from Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Japan, South Korea, and others have parachuted into these spots, and it's genuinely spooked the leftover women. These girls have come from overseas, heading straight for the matchmaking corners in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou with crystal-clear goals: find a Chinese husband. They hold up signs that state it plainly: no bride price, no demands for a house or car, just looking for a Chinese husband. Some even own villas abroad and bring their own dowries. This move caught the domestic matchmaking market completely off guard. True story. In Beijing, an Annie had her son's matchmaking sign up for days with zero interest. Suddenly, a blonde girl walked up, offered her own car and house, and asked for no gold jewelry or bride price. The Annie's eyes lit up on the spot, exclaiming, "Give me a dozen daughters-in-law like this." Even crazier is the guy in Jiangsu who married a Korean wife for just 8,800 renminbi, about $1,232. The wedding was romantic and lively, making the whole village green with envy. Everyone was saying, "Spring has finally arrived for Chinese men." Now, it's not just the men who can't sit still. The leftover women in their 30s are panicking big time. The domestic market was already intensely competitive, and now foreign reinforcements have arrived. They immediately took to the internet to complain. Some cursed the foreign girls for disrupting the market, and others even mocked Chinese men, saying they only look for foreign women because they can't find a local wife. But complaints aside, the reality is that the foreign girls' qualities are genuinely good. Great looks, high education, filial piety. They do housework, and they adapt well. The key point is, they recognize Chinese men as responsible. Ultimately, we have to look at this objectively. The pressure in the Chinese marriage market is enormous. In 2024, only about 6.1 million couples registered for marriage, and newborns dropped below 10 million. Housing prices, car loans, and mortgages scare young people away from marriage. Among the 30-plus million bachelors, there are actually more older leftover women than single men. The women's standards have skyrocketed. Astronomical bride prices, must own a house, a car, and have a secure government job. They've turned marriage into a luxury good, forcing some men to just lie flat and give up on marriage or turn to foreign women. As a result, we've suddenly become the hot commodity. The data is even more brutal. In 2024 alone, over 198,000 foreign women came to China for marriage, with Japanese women accounting for 32,000 of them, 1/6 of the total. That said, transnational marriage isn't the cure-all. Young people's fear of marriage boils down to life pressure and anxiety about stability. It's not about choosing between local or foreign girls. It's about hoping for a fairer marriage market in the future. I hope everyone can find someone who truly treats them well and stops letting the pressure crush their willingness to even date. Last thing, just between us. If you're single, would you consider matchmaking with a foreign girl? Let's hear it in the comments.
一边是没房没车别来沾边，一边是只要婚礼不要彩礼。
On one side, there's a demand. If you don't have a house or a car, don't even bother. On the other side, there's an offer. I just want a wedding, not a bride price. Faced with this, a smart Chinese man would probably know what to choose, wouldn't he? Behind the joke, it's not that domestic options are unaffordable, but that imported ones offer a better price-to-performance ratio, lies a critical question. What exactly is compelling Chinese men to open their eyes to the world? In the past, when we discussed transnational marriage, the default image was of a Chinese woman marrying a foreign man. But in just the last few years, the proportion of Chinese men marrying foreign wives has soared, and the situation has completely reversed. Let's look at the numbers. Data shows that the percentage of Chinese men marrying foreign women out of all transnational marriages has jumped from 52% in 2018 to nearly 60% in 2020. In regions like Guangxi, this figure is as high as an astonishing 92%. The older generation might recall popular TV dramas like A Native of Beijing in New York, which accurately portrayed an era where marrying a foreigner was a pathway to a better material life abroad. But times have changed. In the past 5 years, even inland provinces like Henan, Anhui, Jiangxi, and Hunan have seen an explosive growth in transnational marriages. This brings to mind a popular question online. Why have men stopped pursuing women? Perhaps the answer isn't that they've stopped pursuing altogether, but that they've changed their target audience. They've opened their eyes to the world. So, what are these men really thinking? Why would they willingly pursue a foreign woman with language and cultural barriers, instead of a local woman who shares the same background and lifestyle? The answer, it seems, lies within the domestic marriage and dating environment, which has become suffocatingly distorted in recent years. We have a dynamic of over 100 million single, older women experiencing an awakening of independence on one side and 30 million single men struggling on the other. Of course, we can sympathize with the women. They've worked incredibly hard to get an education, to move from small towns to big cities for a decent career. It's completely understandable that they would want a partner with better qualifications. Everyone wants to move up in life, right? The problem lies in how better qualifications are now defined, a definition that has been severely warped by the internet. Online, you'll find countless posts bragging about things like a monthly salary of 30,000 renminbi, approximate $4,200 is barely enough to survive. This creates a false reality where luxury is the norm. In the real world, a man who is 175 centimeters tall earns over 10,000 renminbi, approximate $1,400 a month, and is decent looking is already a high-quality candidate. But online, he's portrayed as a failure. Without a house and car, he's automatically filtered out of the dating market. Let's be realistic. Owning a home and a car in a major city is a luxury. A small apartment in Beijing or Shanghai can easily cost 3 to 4 million RMB, approximate $420,000 to $560,000 USD. The bride price is another crushing burden, reaching 300,000 renminbi, approximate $42,000 in some areas, with extreme cases in Fujian demanding 2 million renminbi, approximate $280,000. And those are just the premarital material conditions. After marriage, men are expected to provide emotional value, create romantic surprises, and meet a long list of other emotional demands. Who can possibly fulfill all of that? Therefore, for many men, instead of burning themselves out in the domestic race, they're exploring foreign markets. Southeast Asian wives are seen as diligent and frugal. Russian and Ukrainian wives are beautiful and may even come with a dowry. In these relationships, they find mutual respect and tolerance, rather than material demands and emotional pressure. It's often said that transnational marriages don't last. Yet, statistics suggest their divorce rate is actually lower than the domestic rate. Of course, a foreign wife is not a magic solution. But this trend has undeniably opened up another possibility, a different path for Chinese men. It also serves as a wake-up call to those still lost in unrealistic fantasies. Marriage, after all, was never meant to be a business deal to see who profits more. Its true essence should be about mutual support, care, and partnership.
外国女孩闯入北京相亲角，婚恋市场变天了。
Lately, the matchmaking market in Beijing has been buzzing. Every Wednesday morning at 9, Zhongshan Park is crowded with parents holding up A4 sheets listing their children's education, income, and property details, all trying to advertise their sons and daughters. But this time, the usual routine was broken. 3 blonde, blue-eyed women showed up. One was a Ukrainian graduate student with her own house and car, asking for no bride price, and even carried a sign boasting a monthly salary of 50,000 renminbi, about $7,000. Another Russian woman only asked for a bride price of 8,800 renminbi, $1,239. A German doctor came with 2 apartments. And a Belarusian influencer not only refused a bride price, but also earns 50,000 renminbi per month, $7,000. Such offers instantly set the whole matchmaking scene ablaze, but also put tremendous pressure on local Chinese women. Online, some people even called for foreign brides to get out, and groups like Anti-Foreign Daughter-in-Law Alliance started popping up. Behind this foreign bride fever lies a harsh reality. After the Russia-Ukraine conflict, more than 8.27 million Ukrainians were displaced, and 76% of them were women. Many faced low-paying jobs, or even risks of being trafficked. Meanwhile, China's reputation for safety and reliable men made it an ideal option. No wonder that in 2023, the number of Ukrainian women granted residence permits in China skyrocketed by 240%. China's marriage market was already distorted by sky-high bride prices. Now, foreign women's easygoing attitude has completely changed the competition. Local women, who once leveraged their household registration or degrees to boost their chances, are suddenly faced with younger, prettier, and less demanding rivals, a crushing blow. Still, cross-border marriages are not all sunshine and roses. Cultural differences create conflicts. Some couples fight over drinking habits, others over children's language education. Worse, criminals have exploited this, like the 30-member international marriage fraud case cracked in Zhengzhou. Yet there are also heartwarming stories. A programmer in Chengdu, for instance, fell in love with his Russian wife through their shared admiration for Tolstoy. Their marriage shows that it's not about transactions, but about resonance of the soul. That's the true key to happiness. This foreign bride storm is not only shaking up the marriage market, but also forcing us to reflect. What does happiness really mean, and how should it be defined? I've heard people saying foreign girls are stealing Chinese men. Is that really true? Hi everyone, my name is Lana. I'm from Siberia, a very cold place. I've been living and studying in China for about 2 years now. So, Lana, do you like Chinese men? Yes, I do. What do you think are the main differences between Chinese men and the men back in your country? Chinese men really value family. For them, getting married and having children isn't just an option, it's a certainty. That gives us women a real sense of security. So tell me, sweetheart, would a man have to pay a bride price to marry you? No, not at all. I'm from Los Angeles, and I don't need any bride price. Then what qualities do you look for in a partner? As long as he treats me sincerely, is taller than me, and has a sense of humor, that's enough. And when do you plan to get married? Within 2 years at the most. Wow, so even for a girl born in 2005, she feels 2 years is a reasonable time to consider marriage.
Exactly.
These days, international marriage isn't just a trend anymore, it's already a reality. If some local girls keep setting their standards unrealistically high, well, they might just end up staying single. What do you all think? Foreign women see Chinese men much like how Chinese women view white men, as if they naturally carry a kind of halo. When you talk to them, they are warm, open, and fun to chat with. To them, marrying a Chinese man could mean instantly changing their lives. And there are countless real stories to back this up. Right now, in countries like Vietnam, Thailand, and others, this is very obvious. Women there are straightforward and openly express their liking for Chinese men. But Thailand is a bit different. Many women there work in tourism, constantly meeting people from all over the world, so their mindset is shaped by that exposure. If you're seriously thinking about marrying abroad, I suggest focusing on southern Vietnam. Women there tend to be more genuine and down-to-earth. Also, Russian women are a great choice. Chinese men are actually very popular in Russia too. After listening to all these stories, diverse perspectives, and heated debates, it's easy to get caught up in the argument of who is right and who is wrong. We can see the exhaustion of Chinese men facing the pressure of bride prices, houses, and cars. We can also feel the anxiety and even anger of local women who feel their position is being threatened. But if we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, perhaps the real issue isn't about choosing a local wife versus a foreign wife. This transnational marriage storm is, in fact, a giant mirror, reflecting the invisible pressures and the fractures in our generation's perception of love and marriage. It reflects a society where a man's worth is sometimes measured by his assets, and a woman's value is tied to her youth and material demands. And perhaps the most profound lesson lies right here. Marriage never was and never will be a simple transaction, an economic contract where people calculate who gets the better deal. True happiness doesn't come from a luxury apartment, an expensive car, or a staggering bride price. It comes from the resonance of two souls, from respect, understanding, and the willingness to shoulder life's burdens together. It comes from simple but warm evening meals and from sincere words of encouragement when we are weary. Perhaps the arrival of foreign brides is not meant to steal anyone, but rather to serve as a wake-up call, forcing all of us, both men and women, to pause and ask ourselves, what am I truly looking for in a relationship? And what genuinely creates a lasting marriage and a happy family? Love, after all, knows no borders, but it always requires a solid foundation of sincerity and understanding. That is the most precious emotion we are all searching for. Thank you for listening and sharing with Chinese Emotion.